What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Simian. My name is Yin. I play The Sims. Did you see what I did there? Guys, the Horse Ranch trailer pack is literally trending. We're going to get into more of that later. But first, I did want to mention that I am doing a 2-pack giveaway where there will be 2 winners for the new Horse Ranch expansion pack. All you have to do is be subscribed to my YouTube channel as well as following me on Twitter or TikTok. With that being said, I am going to be doing a quick recap of the live stream, and then we'll get into our thoughts and opinions as well as some Simmers tweets and concerns. There is a lot to talk about and a lot to get into, and of course, everything will be timestamped down below, so for those who don't want to see the whole thing, you can skip around. Now we're going to start off with firstly with Create a Sim, where Sim Guru Joanna and Sim Guru George took to Create a Sim to announce more news on the sim. They did say that they have over 30 breeds, which is very interesting because a lot of people were worried about that. Horses do have traits and they have physical attributes from the game. Also, there's lots of customization options and creative choices to choose from. There's also face marking, stamps, hair colors, and full creative control. And they even added a bow tie, which is very interesting because I thought that was a little random on my end, but I don't know. Again, I will state my thoughts and opinions towards the end, but I did want to get the facts out of the way. Now, I did love the fact that we do have traits for the horses and that you can decide on whether you want a baby horse or a middle-aged or a little bit older horse. Maybe you're playing with the LPs and you're trying to create a gameplay story of that sort. Also, unicorns are not confirmed. It's just creative control I feel like you can do in Create a Sim. Speaking of Create a Sim for your Sims, they did dive deep into that where there are 2 new aspirations and traits as well as full body outfits for your Sims. They do have options in cowboy, the aesthetic, and also I did find it interesting that they added these little details where you can have like dirt on your clothes just for more storytelling and gameplay. Now, as far as the kids Create a Sim, it did look a little lackluster once we dive deep into that just a little bit more, as well as just the infants and of course toddlers being left out once again. They quickly did go through the Create a Sim when it came down to their Sims just because there wasn't much to show off. Although this is an expansion pack, it was giving very much a game pack, to be honest. And of course there is little outfits and aesthetics here and there, but there wasn't enough to justify it being a full expansion pack. We did get a couple of new hairs, but a lot of them did look repetitive. Again, I'm going to get into my thoughts and opinions towards the end, but I just couldn't help myself. Now, a lot of people did feel some kind of way towards the indigenous culture in which they said that they were going to be diving deep more into for this pack, but refused to have more than a couple of options for longer hair. Now, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below on that, but we are going to get into Chestnut Bridge, where we were open to the map for the very first time. We do have 3 new neighborhoods, such as Writer's Glen, New Appaloosa, and Galloping Gulch. I did probably pronounce that wrong, so my apologies, but I did also want to mention there is like an Arizona looking area towards the front, and as you can see, we do have some greenery area. Now, as we make our way towards Writer's Glen, it's more on the aesthetic, and I quote by, Sim Guru George saying, House California Napa vibes. So that is kind of the area of what we're looking at, more of like the rich aesthetic, and over there on that side as well. Now, we are going to get into horse animations in just a bit, but as you guys can see, they did state that we can feed them, we can have jokes with them, we can scratch their neck, gossip, mellow out, debate saddle responsibility. We can even give our horses hugs. Now, I will admit that the horse ranch animations are very well done, but I am skeptical when it comes down to having it be released with other packs. We do know when they do go over these packs, especially through the live stream, it is only base game and horse ranch pack, so that does leave me worried sometimes when it comes down to cross pack compatibility and how well everything is going to run with no bugs. They did mention that there is a community board in which you can actually purchase your own horses, do trainings, competitions, and get to know people over in the neighborhoods. You can also how to take care of horses as well, and there is many places around. They did also mention as they were going through the lot that we now have grass such as prairie grass, and where Sims can harvest and collect them. Now, these are new plants that we are going to be having, and they said once collected you can actually feed your horses at the stable if you want after harvesting these yourselves. Now, that is a new way of just gardening in general, but we are going to make our way towards more of like the barrel aesthetic and as well as the stable. Now, there was another sim guru who ended up being a producer on this, and it stated many different details, and if you can always dive deep more into the live stream, in which I'll always link down below. But with the barrels, you can have, and there's different options as far as being able to train them, and we do have more options options when it comes down to your stable and for your Sims. Your Sims can also clean the stables as well as take care of them. And I did find it very interesting that they did mention that the cleaner you are with your horses, or how the better taken care of your horses are, is better taken care of how their poops will be, and their poop will lead to better fertilization for future gardening. Now, with this, you can also assign your horses beds, which I think is a great way to be able to keep track of where each horse sleeps. And let's say you have a big family and maybe you have a family members that have multiple horses, you can be able to put them in each of their own stables. Now, we do have other options as well as cooking, and they did say that they worked very hard on the Native American inspired food, such as squash, beans, and corns. I did find it interesting that we're not able to still grill this, even though they've added this into the game of the cooking skill. So I'm very curious as to hear your opinions down below. And they did mention that we have 2 events such as Ranch Gathering, where your Sims can actually get together and talk all things just the horse ranch life, and as well as, you know, pull up on a barrel. There's ranch music, cowpoke dancing, grilling, nectar, and all that neighborly fun. And we also have Ranch Animal Day, where this day is specifically all about your horses, mini sheeps, and mini goats. Caring and playing with these animals might just be another day on the ranch for some, but for some friends, community members, it can be fun and fulfilled events. So you can get together with your family as well and be able to do that. Now, diving deep more into the world, they did showcase a lot more that I wasn't very much expecting, but I will say this part right here is absolutely beautiful. There is so many trails, and there's also hidden trails, in which they did mention, stating that if you go and play a little bit more and dive deep, you will see a lot of wormholes. Or black holes. A lot of people get on me for saying wormholes, but that's just what I call them. But there is a lot of trails such as rivers, and there's also ways where you can gallop around with your horses. You can walk, you can sprint, or gallop, as people would say. There are stone bridges, there are beautiful waterfalls, and there are trails that are going to be alongside of towards this area of the world. Now, many people were wondering how that was going to work when it came down to animations and just being able to go ahead and walk around this world with your Sims. I see it very much similar to a bike, whereas if you were riding a bike with your Sims and they were trying to get from location to location. With that being said, we are going to head over to New Appaloosa, where, as you guys can see, they said it's kind of like an old money town, where we have boardwalks, the Nectar Bar, and old Western town vibes, where you can also have competitions and some starter homes to begin with if your Sims are into that. I did find this interesting because I was kind of like, where are the people? You know, as they were developing this town and as they were showing us around, it looked very empty and very non-lively in my opinion, and I feel that this area had a lot of potential, but again, the live stream did seem rushed, and I'll get into that more towards my opinions. Again, it wasn't even a live stream. It was honestly pre-recorded, but they did go in to mention, like, you know, the little Nectar Bar and where people can just hang out. Now, Nectar here is considered wine. They can't actually call it alcohol beverages in The Sims 4 for some reason. We know back in the day when other Sim games, this is the most PG Sims 4 game we have ever experienced. But with continuing on, they do have things where you can go into a store where you can also get some supplies, as well as just being able to just overall have that country vibe aesthetic and do the hold down, throw down if you're into the, you know, Hannah Montana vibes. Okay, that was kind of lame. Sorry, guys. Anyway, back to the review. As you guys can see, this is where all the Simmers were, or Sims. This is where they were all located. I still was wondering what's going on with the town in general. It just looked very empty and not lively as much as I was wanting it to. Now, with that being said, we are going to dive deep, and last but not least, into mini goats and sheep. I was really excited about mini goats and sheep, but I am sad a little bit that they don't grow up anywhere besides that. I do think that they spent a lot of their money and budget on the horses and animations for this expansion pack. With that being said, we do have different color sheeps, and you don't have to add them to the household, so the amount of sheep you can get is detectable as of right now, as far as what I'm seeing. I did hear that if you have cottage living, there is cross-pack compatibility where you can add milk to that as well. Now, with that being said, goats help with the garden and they eat bugs, so I thought that was a really cool add-on. And you can control your horses to have fun with the mini goats and even scare them. So, and also your Sims can help control some of the things that are going on with the Sims. With that being said, they did dive deep more into the nectar nectar making, or again, as you guys know, you guys clearly see it's a wine bottle, but of course they can't say it just yet. But to be honest, the live stream seemed just a little bit off in my personal opinion. I didn't feel very excited from them, the way they were developing and saying everything as they were speaking, but I don't know, that's just my personal opinion. I think one of the highlights of this expansion pack is, of course, not only the horses, but the fact that we now have painted ceilings. We can paint ceilings. That'll be a great news for a lot of builders out there who have been wanting that. Now, with that being said, we are going to dive deep more into the fact of why the horse ranch pack is trending and going crazy. And again, I'm going to read a couple of Simmer's tweets, so let's get into it. Starting off with a simmer by the name of Benji saying, no shade, but remember when live streams were over 2 hours long? A lot of people did feel this way. And someone else by the name of Max's Match said, that was a quick ending. Was that a real live stream? I'm confused. And of course, as you guys know, it is confirmed that it was pre-recorded. Monica said, so I don't want to be negative, but I'm a little underwhelmed. The stream ended and my first thought was, that's it? I like the pack, but it's just not enough. Hollow Simmer said, I love the map, I like the world, but it shouldn't have been an expansion. And I completely agree. Someone else by the name of Fable Simmer said, Chestnut Ridge looks great if that's your vibe. I doubt my Sims would ever live there, lol, but it's a lot like San Sequoia. A ghost town with a lot of sea, but no one around. That's probably my biggest issue with this game. Where are the townies, the horses, etc.? Someone else by the name of Sematically said, y'all, I can't be the only one fighting this pack, like super boring, right? Nothing is happening, and I completely agree. Someone else by the name of Swan said, Horse Ranch growing together. Can someone explain why we need such similar hairstyles and 2 packs back to back, especially when there are already 10 other hairstyles that look the exact same? Now, I did see on the build and buy in Creative Sim that there looked like there was multiple different of the same pack when it came down to items and content, and I do believe there's a lot of reused content within this pack as well. With that being said, we are going to dive deep into my thoughts and opinions, and personally, I feel like, first of all, the live stream or the pre-recorded stream did feel rushed. In my personal opinion, I feel like the only reason that they even did a pre-recorded stream was because of all the backlash they were facing based on the gameplay trailer when it came out. I know they were excited at first when they first released this gameplay trailer and when they first released the Horse Ranch expansion pack in general, but with all the backlash of people stating that it just doesn't seem like an expansion pack and that there's not enough content, I completely agree. We do know that Horse Ranch pack is surrounded by horses, of course, but if that's all there was, why not make it a game pack? There's just not enough information and enough gameplay to involve where it should be an expansion pack. Now, again, in my personal opinion, I've said this multiple times, they did mention that there was a lot of budgeting that went into the Horse Ranch expansion pack, and I feel like because of that, they wanted their money back tenfold, and they knew that they could get away with this because they were asking, the Simmers were asking for horses for a very long time, and we finally received it, and they knew that they could make double the amount, so why not? A lot of people are going to buy this solely for the horses, so if they can get away with a $40 expansion pack for just horses, they're going to do that. They did showcase some interesting things, and I do love the fact that horses are now in the game, and we do have, you know, like stables and mini sheeps and goats, but again, I don't feel like they should have been charging people $40, especially when there's just not enough to say. Like, this aesthetic has already been done. We've seen it multiple times with other DLCs. How many DLCs do we need to have this exact aesthetic? Again, but that's just my personal opinion. Again, if you disagree with me, that's totally okay. That's what my channel is all about. I would love to hear your opinion. I did want to dive deep a little bit more into the Creative Sim, and I feel like it was very unfortunate that the Creative Sim didn't have much either. And if not only did they have not much, but it also was a lot of repeated content that we have already seen. I do feel like it's very unfair to call this an indigenous culture pack when they didn't have a lot to involve in that. You know, why would you call it that? It just looked a little like they said that to get more clout. Now, with that being said, I am doing a Horse Ranch 2 winner pack giveaway where all you have to do is be subscribed to my YouTube channel as well as following me on Twitter or TikTok. Yes, it is available for PC and console. Again, I will be doing another video separately, and I might just end up doing a live tonight for those who are watching this as of today. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and again, let me know your thoughts and opinions, and I'll dive deep more into it as the week continues. With that being said, thank you for all the love and support. We are on the road to officially 30K. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.